cafes in a cybercafe, ou bien and drawn a table which you completed with exchange rates found online in cybercafes or a cybercafe, ou bien which you completed after consulting or having consulted the exchange rates online in a cybercafe or in cybercafes. For each destination, you jotted down potential places to visit and stay, proposed places of visit and stay, recommended sites and accommodations. Là, je comprends pas très bien comment ça fonctionne. C'est le visit places. Ah, non. To visit recommended. C'était ça. Là, je comprends pas. Non, on a recommended. Moi, j'ai une barre oblique et j'ai recommended sites and accommodations. Donc là, il y a quelque chose qui me pose problème. Je vois pas. You jotted. Alors, il faut que je regarde l'anglais. You jotted down potential places to visit. Donc, jotted down recommended, c'est ça alors?
Recommended sites of visit and accommodation.
Oui, non, mais je ne comprenais pas la construction. Donc, est-ce que c'est simplement je voulais lire les options. For each destination, you jotted down potential places to visit and stay. Ou bien, you jotted down proposed places of visit and stay. Ou bien, you jotted down recommended sites and accommodations. C'est ça. A brief, short halt in Pilsen beer. Olomouc walk from the Red Church towards the other Red Dome. Common fact, Sweden, mosquitoes, myggen equals mosquito in Swedish, sticks. During the journey, in the course of the journey, while traveling, you also created or made a list of criteria for an ideal youth hostel, a detailed record of your expenses and the names of the rivers flowing through visited cities. You like to sit by the window, or you preferably sat by the window. You would sit by the window in a vacant four-seater area, a vacant four-seater section. You rest your head against, even though it was rather uncomfortable and did not last long. Against what? Je l'ai pas marqué, non? Tu posais le front sur la vitre, oui. Against the window, je sais pas. Voyez, the window. Voilà, merci. You would rest your head against the window, even though it was rather uncomfortable and did not last long. You were often bothered by the small gap between the headrest and the side, which needed to be filled. You would feel the window vibrating against your temple. You would feel the chill of the window against your shoulder. You would feel the black rubber frame of the window against your arm. You would dream of networks, rail and road, of grids. In the overlapping western woof, you would dream of pristine areas, terrains, of gaps, holes, blanks, in the maps, unexplored, uncharted, untrodden. You would feel like wandering in these filaments, like a void-loving tightrope walker on the verge of falling, about to fall into the world. You daydreaming. You came up with your own infallible techniques, methods, schemes of sleep, I made a mistake, without having to worry or without worrying about being robbed. Fastening your backpack strap, around your ankle and lying over two seats in a fetal position, or on your back with your legs resting against or legs against the window. In the Trondheim-Narvik train running for 25 hours, as all the seats were occupied, you couldn't bear it any longer, and so you rolled out your mattress under the 4 back-to-back seats, a filthy corner, shed shelter, in which your horizontal position helped you get some sleep nonetheless, or anyway. You had a second smaller bag slung across your chest, in which your first telephone, your purse and the yellow notebook, in which were your first telephone, your purse and the yellow notebook. Back then, losing your phone would not have troubled you that much, but this notebook, yes, would have. Yes, we would have. You kept saying that you slept soundly on the berth, lulled or rocked by the binary rhythm of the tracks, akin to heartbeats. But you were too eager to discover or see a new landscape, too nervous, thrilled with the prospect of arriving in a new city, to sleep. The mornings following a night journey to H or S or to K were notably different because of, or were notable for a singular special weariness, stiff, dazed, dizzy. In the KS train, Jed's leg was casually rubbing yours. The light was very bright. The sound or music of the wheels, the tracks, was very soft, melodious. Time was suspended. One day you found out, but was it in a Bulgarian or Slovakian youth hostel, that thick ERT which listed all the train schedules across Europe? It might have spared you the effort of copying lines. You pored over it for a good 1 hour, fascinated by the prospect of so much knowledge before your eyes or under your eyes, awaiting a question to proudly answer, KB, the next departure is at 10:41 a.m. The next train departs at 10:41 a.m. Change of tea. But the copy was not for sale. Your ritual of religiously copying paid off. Finding a cyber cafe, getting on the Deutsche Bahn's site, the most detailed for European schedules, copying the timings or the times in the yellow notebook, checking your emails, writing some to your friends, following a skillful ou crafty ou shrewd or ingenious arrangements ou procedure or planning, ou bien haute possibilité alternative writing to your friends following your well-thought plan so that nobody has all the information ou the complete information, so that nobody could piece the puzzle of your itinerary. It was also the time when Europe was discovering the Sudokus. The local newspaper of your native town published one every day on the internet. You visited its site. You hand-copied them. It kept you busy when you no longer wanted to read through the train window, when you had to push aside the questions about your future, about your life after. It needed to be accomplished, it needed to be fulfilled. In Romania, you favored, you rather opted for, ou bien you enjoy taking, ou you rather travel by, on commuter trains or intercity trains, which ran with doors open, letting in air in this stifling summer. At times, the train would stop in the middle of the field. You would look out and see people coming out of or appearing from tall grasses, would throw parcels on board and clamber, or would have to clamber into the or this train. too high due to the absence of platform. Once, on one occasion, the stopped halt lasted 3 hours. Your jeans stuck to the leather seat. Sweat trickled down your breast. You were in the compartment with a Romanian family. Their younger child, their little one, was pointing at you, asking his parents some questions. It made you laugh, it made them laugh, and everybody laughed and sweated. The conversation was triggered or initiated. A dictionary in your hand, gestures and smiles for them ou on their part. You with a dictionary in hand, they with gestures and smiles. They were as clueless ou bien as much in loss as you about this long ou this lasting halt. You would listen to Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. You would listen to and Raphael's newly released Caravan. He sang, "It's beautiful, it's wonderful to share the same world as you." And this you assumed Anne's face in a Swedish train, eyes face in a Slovak train, P's face in a Hungarian train, J's almost everywhere, all the time, boundlessly, ou bien frantically, ou bien foolishly, ou bien to distraction, ou bien passionately. They had caught up with you, ou bien had joined you. He slept next to you, and you both held your breath without any contact. If landscapes could retain ou bien record memories or thoughts, Europe in 2005 would be covered with these names, this name. Now you think or you feel that if you touched the notebook in a particular way, if you could find the right way of stroking, bien fingering, cuddling, and holding or squeezing, the music, peut-être il faut it là, non? Il me semble que il faudrait le it. J'ai pas la page. Now you think. Vous l'avez la page, vous y êtes? Page, pardon? 17. Il te semble aujourd'hui, oui. Que si tu touchais le carnet du certain cette musique, oui, il faut le it, voilà. The music you were listening to would escape, would slip out, be let out. Among Raffles' other songs, there was also On the Road, like Kerouac's book, the author unfolding his manuscript, ou bien whose manuscript was unfolding. You were unfolding your thoughts along the tracks. Alors attendez, déroulait, oui, c'est le même mot, hein. Voilà. You were unfolding, je trouve plus, your thoughts along the tracks. You saw your life raising, reaching new heights against over with the Russian forests, the Ukrainian plains, Slovak or Slovakian mountains. You experienced immensity and eternity as never before. In those days, big words did not frighten you. Your emotions were complete and intact. You utterly disregarded and were unfettered by, parce que là, j'ai pas écrit le word, unfettered by the mincing of or the grinding work of nuance or subtlety and analysis. 10 years later, you find the notebook, you travel north by train again, you take the notebook with you to read or to have as a lucky charm, ou bien a talisman. T is standing on the platform, freezing in the night. You kiss him through the window, you hold back your tears. You were so happy or delighted to travel on your own, or alone again. You wonder why you force it on yourself. Who is the person you're attempting to find within you, or looking for within you? You run your thumb on the edge of the yellow notebook. At first sight or glance, it was written by someone else wrote it. On the night train to Hamburg, a fleece hoodie, an oddly comfortable thing that your mother gifted you on Christmas. Et j'ai pas mis de verbe. You wear. Tu portes une polaire à capuche. J'ai pas mis de verbe. You wear or are wearing, je sais pas. Tu portes. On est au présent. You booked a window seat. Your thick sweater softens or absorbs the pressure impact contact of the rubber frame against your arm. You're sitting on the side of the heating system, the heat rising from the floor along your body. You are writing an email on your cell phone. It will leave your outbox during the night with the next Wi-Fi connection. You bring or get out your laptop. You try to watch an American series shot in Seoul, Nairobi, London, Berlin, and San Francisco. You cannot. You are reminiscing about the journey undertaken 10 years back. You remember how simple life was back then. Today, you always have at least 2 chargers with you, and it is hard to be unconnected for a few days or more. You moderate this idea, it's cheap romanticism. You tell yourself that the global network has just got closer or tighter. In the yellow notebook, you find loose slips of paper between the cover and the first page. A green Hungarian visiting card waits scribbled on its back by a receptionist, whose gentle gestures and movements you remember. A cybercafe receipt with a password on its back. A pink note written in Cyrillic, on which you can only make out St. Petersburg, and on its back some Eugene's telephone number for the second time. 2 brand new Prague metro tickets and nothing on their back. Some slips were torn from notebooks similar to yours, filled with or covered with schedules, contacts, and memories put in by people like you, who from similar notebooks in which people like you had jotted down schedules, contacts, and memories, who from similar notebooks in which people like you had filled with schedules, contacts, and memories. You wonder where these sister notebooks are today. Should we rather be speaking of graft than blood relations? And are the few bits ripped off your own notebook kept in other notebooks? How many of you are present in others' texts and thoughts? At dawn, you notice or you realize that the compartment is full. All seats are now taken by sleepers, by sleeping men or women. Ou bien, each seat is now taken by a sleeper or by a sleeping man or woman who followed the same ritual as you. Triangle positions, filling the gap with clothes, putting on earphones, pulling down their hoodies. Everyone is more or less the same age, ou bien you're all more or less the same age. Every other person took out a notebook in which feelings are being written or noted down. Je veux juste vérifier le temps. On est à quel temps, là, au passé ou au présent?
Assorti.
Ah.
That is done. Looking over the window now.
Parce qu'on dit everyone is more or less the same age. You're all more or less every other person assorti.
Incarné dans lequel
Ouais.
c'est que c'est présent et présent.
Bah, le truc me gêne quand même. Non. Has taken, non.
It's taken out.
Has taken out. Ouais. has taken out a notebook in which feelings are being written or noted down, ça d'accord, between a couple of glances through the window, ou bien are being written, noted down feelings interspersed with a couple of glances through the window. You smile twice as much. First, because you're struck by an overwhelming joy at waking up on a train, and it had not happened for years, for many years. Next, because all these notebooks remind you that you are not unique at all, ou bien far from being unique. Your initial discomfort, this unfamiliar, strange girl in you, has vanished, ou bien faded away. You now hold or secure or clutch you hold on to the notebook as if reading it was reassuring, thinking and believing you would only find facts and moderate or mellow, mild emotions. Nonetheless, you are surprised, ou bien struck by a full page of contacts, ou bien a full page with details. There, people whose very existence you don't even remember had written their names and how they met you. Anon, on the OB, etc. train, etc. Bon, là, après, je garde. A page on which somebody tried or attempted to write or writing or jot down your name several times in a child's script to be a handwriting interspersed with stars. You tell yourself or you assume that it could have been a boy, that he had drawn these lines smiling at you, and you feel a kind of memory burn in your guts, in your stomach, ou bien you feel memory somehow singeing your stomach. One full page entitled G2L written by some martyr. Eastern Europe's top 10 according to Lonely Planet, which he copied down to or until number 5. Russian phrases in Russian to buy a train ticket. Then you would put the notebook in front of or under the nose of the lady at the counter, and she would write the answer in it. In your notebook eventually, or that's why, therefore, there is the handwriting, the script of an Ukrainian lady who worked at the Kiev station's ticket counter in 2005. In Hamburg, you change trains. You take another train and have a cup of coffee, something you never did back then, in those days. Every single cent counted. You find yourself a crowd of You find, au milieu c'était non, in a crowd, c'est ça. You find yourself c'est où ça? Quelle page ça?
Page 21.
Ah, page 21, d'accord. Alors, tu à Hambourg, voilà. Tu te trouves dans, c'est ça? Je trouve pas.
Le deuxième paragraphe.
Oui, deuxième paragraphe, chaque centime compte, voilà. Tu te trouves dans le flux, voilà. Donc là, j'ai oublié un mot. You find yourself in a crowd of early morning commuters, in suits and holding briefcases, foldable scooters and tablets. In Copenhagen, you cross the border above the sea. As somebody, voilà, j'ai fait une faute d'orthographe. Somebody asks you in a mumble if you are reading the Metro Express lying before or in front of you. You shake your head to say no, as if it was your daily commute too, whereas you have already traveled across an entire country. On the train to Stockholm, you look through the window to avoid looking at a lavishingly or insanely and abashedly handsome man on the other side of the corridor who is taking out the very or the exact same thing as you. a Moleskine notebook, a travel guide, a thermos. Such mimicking is getting utterly ridiculous or absurd. But the train goes through a tunnel and you notice that you are both watching or observing each other in the reflection. You laugh and look away. There's one page that you did not really expect to find, the one with the SMS copied by hand a decade ago, because SMSs, est-ce que je rajoute un petit test? On va voir. Because your telephone could not store more than 30. In this sentimental selection or list, you had kept messages which you cannot imagine having received back then. It's okay, it's normal to be afraid. I will miss you too. Bon, après les autres, voilà. Oui, Polish Guy et tout ça, on l'a, c'est pareil, hein. Attendez, je l'ai. Attendez, je corrige parce que là j'ai fait une faute. J'ai mis une majuscule, il n'en fallait pas. I can find. Là, j'ai dû aussi. Oui, voilà. Ah bah non, d'accord, c'est pas moi qui corrigeais. C'est lui qui corrige une fois que j'ai le dos tourné. Voilà. Voilà. You think... non, on en est à la sœur, voilà. Your sister, Miss Yourself, et Jay, pity or too bad, we couldn't say things. You think, you ponder on, you are thinking of, or pondering on those relations which are no more, or of those which have changed. Ah, of ou on, il me faut les deux là aussi, selon le verbe qu'on va choisir. Today, V would no longer say that he misses you, or J, that you might have had a love story, because or as you could not say things. You know that I's job takes him either to Afghanistan or San Francisco, who takes him to Afghanistan and San Francisco. You know that P is or got married. You wonder or ask yourself how many voices are trapped in this notebook, how many lives you could have lived through these encounters if each of them had been fully explored. You wonder or ask yourself who you were to allow, tolerate, accept, consent to such unanswered questions, to emotionally survive, overcome all that, or bien all this. You looked so straight ahead that, or you were so focused on moving forward that you overlooked possibilities, options, chances. You thought that you were capturing them in this notebook. You could open it occasionally, cherish, treasure, fondly embrace the ghosts of the past escaping from it. Then you would order, command, enjoin them to get back into the yellow notebook. You thought you were removed, untouched. It was simple. Now you are not too or so sure. Indeed, or deep down, all this, all that was really you. When you get off, when you alight from the train at Lulua, you are still just as naive. Your bag is still as heavy as before. You are fascinated, enthralled by the snow falling in the twilight or in the half-light, as if you had never traveled. And taking a selfie in front of the old-style engine of the Swedish railways changes nothing or doesn't change anything. Sometimes, at times, you dream of trains. Compare Moscow with friends, Tehran, Beijing via Delhi with tea. Sometimes, at times, you open the train app on your cell phone, on your smartphone or whatever, for the mere pleasure of knowing the Zurich-Belgrade schedule. You read or found out on the internet that body cells regenerate at varying or different speeds depending or according to organs. Those of the brain and of the heart, or the brains and the hearts, are the slowest, more than 10 years. Consequently, or so, only your brain, heart, and this notebook made this journey 10 years ago. Ou bien made this 10-year-old journey. Summarized at the last page. 16 books, 44 room campings, 282 hours in trains. So, to put it literally, your skin today has never known or never experienced these trains. Bon. On a bien travaillé. C'était du travail partagé. Alors, maintenant, nous avons encore du travail qui est le titre et le sous-titre. Marcher vers le dôme rouge. Alors, walking towards the red dome. Oui, elle en parle d'ailleurs au début, mais il apparaît qu'une fois. Hein. Alors, note autour d'un carnet à utiliser pour la préparation et le suivi d'un tour d'Europe en 2005. Alors, note autour. Autour d'un carnet, voyez. Notes, about, a notebook. Used to prepare and.
Used during and after. Used during the preparation after the European tour.
Used to prepare.
Planning.
Used during the planning and after.
Ah, used to plan, non?
Use body planning.
Alors, on va mettre plusieurs options, hein, for the planning. Alors, and.
Follow up.
During and after.
Le suivi. Ça, c'est bien une expression typiquement française, là. Le suivi... Non, là, il faut le... Comment vous dire ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce qui... Quand on assure le suivi de quelque chose, c'est que... Notes about a notebook used... Alors, to prepare, to plan or for the planning. Alors, et to... en fait, c'est pas... C'est vrai que ce sera mieux dans le during and before, vous voyez? Non, c'est pas after, c'est vraiment in the process and during. Used, ça nous permettrait de... Je crois que c'est comme ça qu'on va s'en sortir le mieux. Hein. Vous voyez, parce que je suis en train de chercher là sur mon dictionnaire dont je vous parlais. Ouais, ils nous mettent substantif masculin, mais ils nous donnent même pas. Voilà, c'est ça. Action de surveiller régulièrement en vue de contrôler. Mais voilà. En fait, là, le suivi, ça veut dire qu'elle met des informations, elle met des impressions. Enfin, vous l'avez, puisqu'elle nous en parle. Notes about. a notebook used, moi je mettrais before and during. Là, c'est, alors, a tour, plutôt que European tour, non? A tour of Europe, non?
Europe to
Et on l'appelle comme ça.
Europe.
Mais aussi, Europe.
Europe tour, or tour of Europe in 2005. Alors, Alors, on pourrait peut-être ajouter used to. Bon, des mots qui mettraient used to jot down, you know, details. Used to, used to, on va pas mettre ces notebooks, bah ouais. To record, ouais, c'est ça, c'est quelque chose comme ça que je cherchais exactement, donc c'est bien. To record, alors qu'est-ce qu'on va mettre? To record. Le seul mot auquel je pense, c'est information, mais. Used to record. Je vais l'écrire, on va voir ce qu'on va nous donner comme information. Qu'est-ce qu'il nous donne comme synonyme? Data.
Details.
Oui, c'est pas trop, on court pas trop de risques, hein. Parce qu'évidemment, il n'y a pas que des details, voilà. Before and during a tour of Europe ou a Europe tour in 2000. Non, c'est before and. Oui, oui, parce que c'est la préparation et le suivi, c'est pas après, hein. Elle fait rien après. Voilà. Bon, avant, on le laisse là avec le reste. Voilà. Voilà.
Applaudissement final.
Applaudissement final, absolument. Oui, déjà, quand même, là, c'est vraiment. Ah non, on a quand même fini ça, c'est déjà très bien. Et alors, bon, on va essayer d'avancer un tout petit peu plus. Je vous dis si j'arrive à avoir, grâce à Moya, voilà. Alors, ensuite, bon, on a dit, vous partez, il faut que vous partiez à 13h. Pour les diplômes, là, est-ce que c'est moi toute seule qui vous le donne ou est-ce que Vidia va venir? Elle doit être là, hein. Donc on l'attend. Non, alors, ce que je... Non, elle a parlé de cérémonie, alors... par contre, ce qu'il me faut impérativement, vous me faites passer, vous avez... Alors, la feuille de présence, je l'ai, mais c'est toutes les autres papiers, il les faut aussi, à vous, voilà. Non, ah oui, alors, la feuille de présence, elle doit être là. Et alors, vous m'aviez parlé...
Parce qu'il y avait l'option information.
Ah bah oui, mais ça, je vais l'envoyer à... C'est ce que je vous ai dit. C'est pour ça que j'ai relevé vos adresses électroniques, hein, parce que je vais l'envoyer à mon amie, voilà, qui est britannique et traductrice, et lui demander qu'elle lise et qu'elle me choisisse une version finale. Voilà. Oui. Ah oui.
C'est quoi en français?
Oui, c'est ça. Mais moi, oui, c'est ça. Je fais là, voilà. Oui.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Oui, je vais vous l'envoyer plus tard, la forme finale. Voilà. Donc ça, c'est la feuille de prévu de fin année d'aujourd'hui. Donc ça, c'est les autres feuilles qui me font. Voilà, aussi. Parce que ça, il faut absolument que je récupère tout ça. Voilà. Alors, il y avait autre chose là. Quelqu'un m'avait parlé d'outils. Les outils, c'est très difficile à vous dire. Bon, vous avez pu le remarquer, comme je vous l'ai déjà dit. Bon, c'est vrai. Je me sers de dictionnaire bilingue pour différentes façons, pour différentes raisons, pardon. Et une des raisons